Everyone get ready for the show. We're going to direct our attentions up here to the screen. There's going to be a video that plays, and then we're going to welcome Troy to the show. So everybody enjoy. Eyes to the screen, everybody.
It hurts to leave Portsmouth, but I'm confident it's the right decision. I want to move home, do more traveling, and apply for jobs in places I want to be. Funny how quickly things change. Shortly after moving here 18 months ago, I got diagnosed with diabetes, pneumonia, bronchitis. Then my girlfriend dumped me on top of the Hanover parking garage. I saw these as signs that it was time for me to leave the Seacoast. So I broke my lease and decided to move. Maybe Miami, New York, or back to London. Maybe there I'd find the thing that I was always looking for but could never find. But then, the day I made that decision, something happened that I'll never forget. My blood sugar crashed in yoga class. My phone alarm went off. It disrupted the peace. And before I could leave the class, the teacher came over to me and asked me, looking me dead in the eye, "Are you okay?" I shrugged her off, already embarrassed, and told her that I was fine, even though I really wasn't. Then I composed myself and I went to Wild Valentine to work. And when I opened my laptop, the first email in my inbox was from the teacher asking me again, "Are you okay?" It was such a small gesture, but in that moment, all I needed was for someone on the Seacoast to show that they cared about me and to assure me that I wasn't broken just because I was different. I thanked her for the message, and she said, "Don't even mention it. This is what we are here for. Community, helping one another out. What else do we have as a civilization if we don't have that?" And that email was enough to convince me to reverse course and to stay here and to commit to the Seacoast. Then everything changed. The right people started entering my life. I found the right hangouts and the places to be on the Seacoast. The sense of belonging, the community, it just started showing itself everywhere I went. And when the community started giving me so much love, I wanted to give it right back. That is why Seacoast Stories exists. And tonight, we honor this community. Tonight, we create space for others to tell their stories. Tonight, we come together to honor the people, businesses, and newsmakers that make the Seacoast an American hidden gem. The Seacoast, I believe, is the model for community everywhere. Thank you for accepting me. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of the Seacoast family. And thank you for being here tonight. Now sit back and enjoy the show. There's one thing I've learned about this community. It's that we all show up for each other. We love supporting local. We love hearing each other's stories. And we love showing up to listen and offer our undivided attention to those stories. And so that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. But first, if there's one thing you take away from that video, I hope it's that you know that at any given moment of any given day, you have the opportunity to change the trajectory of someone's life. Whether it's something you say, something you do, at any time, you can make a real impact and you can have a ripple effect on someone's life. I would not be on the stage tonight. I would still not be on the Seacoast tonight. None of you would be here tonight. This podcast would not exist had Stephanie Polini at Three Bridges Yoga not gone out of her way to make me feel incredibly heard, seen, and validated. And that is something that all of you have the power to do every day as well. All right, so now that the inspirational dilly-dallying is out of the way, I used to host a self-improvement podcast, wrote a self-improvement book, so that's just part of me. So I had to get that out of the way. But for now, we've got a lot to get to. Are you ready to hear what's coming up on this episode of the program? I didn't know the press room could fit this many people in here. This is crazy. Okay, so we've got a packed show. This has all been meticulously planned by several people in this room here tonight. And again, thank you to the press room for having us. So I'll run down the entire show, starting with the end in mind. We're going to end the show with a Q&A. There is a Q&A box over with Carly at the merch table. At any given point as you go up to the bar to grab yourself a Seacoast Stories IPA or whatever else ticklish or fancy tonight, you can write a question in the box there.
just direct it to whoever. So we're going to bring up all the guests we've had on the show. So that's 4 or 5 people, including myself. You can write a question to them, direct a question to them. So just make sure you write down your name and who the question is for. It can also be for all of us if you wish. Just make that abundantly clear. Then we will pull those at the end. And for any of you brave souls kind enough to use your outside voices, we can also just have you scream questions at us as well. Before then, we have our main event of the evening. I work in combat sports, so that's what we call the big fight of the night is the main event. That will be with Katy Marshall of Studio One Cycling. I know Studio One is well represented here tonight. And Katy Marshall also dropped a very cryptic video on the Studio One Instagram account. And she has saved this information that she's teasing for us here exclusively tonight. She's going to drop some big news at the end of the episode. So make sure you stick around for that. Very excited to talk to Katy. Before then, we're going to do something very risky. It could go wildly wrong. I almost got kicked out of my apartment because I got a noise complaint from this thing. I'm going to bring out the money machine. It's currently under this stage right now. It's a wild idea, but one of you lucky people is going to have the chance to win up to $760 in cash money. So stay tuned for that. Before then, I'm talking to Krystal Hicks of JOBTALK. Yeah, clap it up for Krystal. I cannot wait to talk to her. She's making her Seacoast Stories debut. Every other guest I've spoken to before, but I've not talked to Krystal. And just wink, wink, nudge, nudge for the Q&A session, strongly suggest you direct career advice questions to her because it's free. She usually charges a pretty penny for her services. So this will be your time to get some career advice. Before then, we're going to play Seacoast Trivia. We're going to have 3 participants randomly selected. I'm not sure if Seacoast Trivia has ever been done before, but if not, I'm just going to say that this is the first time this has ever been done before. So the inaugural Seacoast Trivia, this is a good time to pause and say, all of you have goodie bags. Every single one of you with tickets and then some. I don't know what we landed on, Kate, with the goodie bags, but everyone who has a goodie bag has a bunch of stuff in there. Discounts, deals, coupons from a bunch of our favorite guests from season 1 of Seacoast Stories who have all kindly contributed a bunch of great things toward us as well. If you look closely, there's also a number written in Sharpie on your bag. That is your number for the evening. I'm sorry, what was it? Bottom of the bag. Thank you, Kate. Number on the bottom of the bag, that is your number for the evening. That is important because when we do our money machine and when we do our Seacoast Trivia, we're going to randomly select 5 people, 3 people for trivia, 2 for money machine to participate. So when your number gets called, you're standing up and you're coming on stage and you don't have a choice. So just keep that in mind. And then before then, we will talk to our first guest of the evening. All of this magic is brought to you by our dear friends at Lainey and Lou, which I'm very grateful for having them aboard. Shout out to Lainey and Lou. I will tell you more about them later. But for now, about ready to bring on our first guest of the evening. Are you guys ready for this? Let me tell you about our first guests. I love these people. Rae and Ryan Lambert interrupted me rudely at White Heron one time. I was talking to someone. We were talking about podcasting and tech and whatnot, and then they just came up to us and interrupted us. And we're like, hey, do you work in tech? I looked at the guy I'm talking to. I'm like, I don't really know the first thing about coding, but I work at Spotify. We have algorithms and AI, so yeah, I guess that's tech. So then we got into a conversation. We exchanged business cards. I do my internet stalking, as I often do with people that I want to have on the podcast. And I find out, wow, these people are actually really cool. And then as I booked them for the podcast and got to hear their story, and then eventually had them on the show a few months ago, their story is wild. Rae and Ryan Lambert, they met at a dance class in New England some 15, 20 years ago. They got married shortly after. They also had their first date at Popovers in Portsmouth, so shout out to Popovers, very cool. They got married, and then Ryan read this book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Have any of you read this book? Show of hands, raise if any of you have read this. Okay, interesting. Because I'm wondering if this book would also lead you to make a rash decision like these two people did. So Ryan reads the book. He tells Rae, you got to read this book. They both read the 4-Hour Work Week. And then they promptly decide, never having worked in tech, never having worked in startups, they decide we're going to go be where all the tech action is, and we're going to move to San Francisco on a whim. So that's what they did, and they were there for 8 years, working between different startups, different jobs. We're probably at the parties where Elon Musk was doing who knows what illicit drugs. They've got stories to share from Silicon Valley. They then bounced around during COVID, lived in Portugal and Mexico City, in New York City and Boston, and now they call home to Portsmouth. They've got a really fun story, and they co-own and co-found this really cool app. It's called the River app. They got $1.6 million in funding for this app earlier this year. At its core, it's an app that essentially gets like-minded people together to get them in the same room and to hang out. So if there's two people who know a thing or two about building community, it's tonight's first guests, Rae and Ryan Lambert. Everyone, please give a warm Seacoast Stories welcome to Rae and Ryan Lambert. Hey! Your mics are right there if you want to grab them. Rae and Ryan Lambert, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here. Very excited to talk to you. So, the first thing I want to ask you is, you made a passing reference to me on our episode that I kind of just went right by, and I wish I hadn't done that. You said that you two not only met dancing, but that you are a part of a big underground Portsmouth dance community. Can you please tell me about this Portsmouth dance scene that apparently exists?
This has all been a ruse to get you to join our cult. Yeah, we love salsa dancing. So we do a lot of Latin dancing in Portsmouth. We teach a beginner salsa class because we really don't want to drive to Boston. So
That's it. That's the whole thing.
that's the whole thing. Yeah, come dance with us.
Where do you dance?
Our practices are at Spinnaker Rec, but we go out dancing. We host a social at the Blue Mermaid. Sometimes we have to drive down to Boston because it's slim pickings. There's some dancing in Manchester. But yeah, just trying to grow the community. So if anyone's interested.
Wednesday nights, 5:30.
Yeah.
Spinnaker.
Wednesday nights, 5:30, and you also all have free salsa dance lessons
Yes.
in your goodie bags too. I've always wanted to do that, so I might take you up
Come
on
out. Yeah. And we met dancing. We were swing dancing back then.
that. Yeah,
And
I know what
so
that
I always
is.
recommend, like, if you're looking for a date, especially if you're a man looking for a woman, the ratio is always in your favor.
It's like 4-1 maybe right now.
Yeah. It's three. It's slim. Yeah.
Love to hear that. Okay. Also in our episode, you made a passing reference to this guy, Brian Johnson. Let me pause there. Do any of you know who Brian Johnson is? He has a new Netflix film out. Ryan, explain to me who Brian Johnson is.
Where to begin? I mean, I guess like he's starting a movement called Don't Die. It's a little bit culty, but the joke is like, yeah, it's a cult. We want to get you to eat healthy and go to bed on time. And we discovered him because a friend of ours introduced us to him, and he used River actually to organize like 150 events, 110 events around the world to get all of his fans together and hang out. And who knew a bunch of vegans would want to?
He's a total nut job who
He is.
wants to live forever. How old is he? He looks fake.
47. Yeah.
Okay, he's he sold his company for billions of dollars, and now he's bored and is injecting himself with all sorts of supplements
That is
and
true.
doing all sorts of things, which you are buying into. Tell me what you ate for breakfast today.
I mean, it's basically eat a shit ton of veggies. I mean, that's quite literally it.
Boiled vegetables for breakfast.
Boiled, blended vegetables.
I try a lot of things.
And how's this working for you?
It's actually super convenient. Although I wonder how much of it is the diet versus just like prepping your goddamn food. It's like super convenient.
I think he looks great.
Aww. You just turned
Thank you.
40, right? You guys, didn't you rent
more
out
month.
Strawberry Bank for his?
It's coming up. It's coming up.
Okay, yeah, you're
Almost
renting
there.
out ice skating, which I didn't know you could do at the pond there, but apparently you can do that privately, and that's what you're doing for Ryan's birthday.
You can, and it actually isn't that expensive too. So I
Okay.
might regret telling you all that.
I'll take your word for that. Okay, so you guys organized a meetup for Brian Johnson. You guys went to one in Boston. Now your meetups through the River app, you host all over the world, but you were able to go to this one with it being so close locally. Can you paint the picture for me? Tell me what these meetups look like and what the vibe and the energy is.
It really depends on the community. A lot of the people who use our app are culty, lunatic-y, because, if you're just like a medium kind of person, you're not going to like activate people a lot. And so we've had Tim Ferriss on our platform, which was very full circle because
That's so
we
cool.
got into tech because we read his book. Then the 10th anniversary of his podcast was coming up and he's like, hey, what crazy thing should I do to connect with my fans? And I tweeted at him and I was like, hey, get all your fans together around the world. So he tweets it out, and then 3 weeks later on our platform, 150 cities around the world get together. So we're just really good at like kind of crowdsourcing hosts and getting people to step up and host events under the kind of banner of a celebrity or an influencer or someone who has a lot of reach. So for Brian Johnson, we did 110. We pulled off 110 meetups in one day, all around the world. And it's vegans who want to go to bed at 8 p.m., who have their last meal at like 3 p.m., but people get very excited because their family thinks they're a lunatic, rightfully. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't know there was 30 more of me in this town. How great. And then you're kind of instant friends. So that's kind of what's cool about the way we get people together is you really have a lot in common with them. And chances are you haven't met someone in your day-to-day life that is that into something unique. So it's kind of it creates a magic moment for people.
You heard me reference earlier in community, the magic of it, something that's very prominent and relevant here. So I'm curious for you, as you are bringing these online communities to real life, you're having these people who are interacting via Reddit and Twitter and Discord. You're having them come interact in real life. What is it? What are the messages that you get from the people that attend these meetups? What's the positive feedback that you get?
I think people are surprised at the diversity of the people. People go to Meetup and people go to like whatever some other platforms, and they think they want to meet people that are like them, and they do. But you actually discover that the topics bring people out and together, and they're actually quite different. The All In podcast community is a perfect example. There's like that whole community. There's lots.
This is a top business entrepreneurship podcast.
Yeah. I mean, there's people, and this was a political year, but there's people in that community that are definitely on the left and definitely on the right. They all love hanging out together, and I think like thinking about like framing being together as like what are we all looking at together rather than how are we the same. The former, I think, is where River shines.
But have you ever like been somewhere else and then you realize that someone you meet is from where you're from and you're like, oh my God, hi. Like it's, I think it feels like that for people. Yeah.
What is most fulfilling about what you guys do, building community in real life?
Well, I saw a stat recently of how much time we spend at home alone, and it just like skyrocketed during COVID. And the sad thing is, even though we're kind of 4 or 5 years out of it, it just stayed up. Like people are just so isolated. And I hear from people all the time that they want to make more friends or they want to meet the love of their life, but they don't really know how to. And we kind of create like a new way to get out there and meet people. And then ideally you stay meeting people because, you can never make friends just in one take. You have to build consistency. You have to see each other regularly. I think that's what's so great about the yoga studio. It's like you're going to eventually make friends if you show up and, if you're not a jerk every week when you go, you'll eventually make friends. It just really takes consistency and then shared interests. And so River just does that in a different way from what we're used to seeing.
It's top down. So like all of you are on Facebook. I don't even need to ask you. You all like look at shit, you like it, you comment on it, you share, whatever. And that nudge for that behavior to happen is coming from someone else. And all we're saying is like that nudge can go one step further, like, comment, share, go attend an event, go host an event. And as we've seen, like hundreds, like there are basically 0 Tim Ferriss meetups on meetup.com or anywhere else. But if Tim's like, hey, I want my fans to go get together and you all should do this, then all of a sudden like 20,000 people get together. We're basically taking this behavior that you already do and getting you to go do something healthy, which is like go do shit with people. Like you live next to them.
You posted something on your Instagram, on the River Instagram yesterday. Very cool video, well done. But the tagline for it was, we want to end loneliness in 2025. I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah, it's like 2025 resolution, end loneliness.
How do you plan on doing that?
Yeah, I think it's not there is a certain magic to moving crowds, and you know, because you're getting people together. You can't just like post online and hope people come. And I think that what our platform is doing is it's letting every community be kind of dialed in to the nuance of that community. And I saw a tweet recently that was like, you can't like direct a community, you have to be in it. You can't just like from the outside in, like you have to be in their building and in the trenches. You have to get feedback from people. You have to notice what's working, what's not working. And so I just think there's a couple of nuances in our app that like lets each community be them. And, you know, I initially started River because I was growing a community of 10,000 people who follow this one business podcast. And like, the more you try to control it, the less it works. So you just kind of have to be like okay with chaos and like controlled chaos. And I think that's kind of what we do.
There's a lot of free energy in the system. Like, this is actually the really fucking crazy thing. People are like, how do you get people to host the events? Like, how to be? It's like, literally, we're telling people, no, you can't host. No, you can't.
I've gotten
host.
so much hate mail from people who got like rejected from hosting simply because someone else beat them to the punch. So a lot of investors or customers would be like, but how do you find hosts? I'm like, no, it's how do you let hosts down nicely so that I don't get mean emails. But one thing I'm in that video that I'm trying to do is I want people to meet up for not just drinking. And so MrBeast is like, the young people know him. He's a huge YouTuber and he has a philanthropic arm where he'll like build wells or build houses. So I am talking with someone from his team. So pray for me. He responded to my DMs.
I interviewed for a job with MrBeast to be one of his producers.
Okay.
Didn't get it, but
we can close them together. But I want MrBeast to do 1,000 simultaneous river park ocean cleanups around the world. And the only way he could do that is using River.
That would be very cool. I'm rooting for you in that. Something I love about you two, to switch gears, is you guys are just big proponents of kind of just saying like, fuck it, I'm going to go do it. You're going to just interject yourselves into our conversation of white hair, and you're going to move across the country. You're going to, Rae, you in Miami when you were at a meetup for an All-In podcast, you were just like, I'm just going to throw together a brunch and I'm just going to invite all the women at this event to come hang out. And then it led you to all these incredible places. What allows you to have the confidence to just be like, fuck it, I'm just going to go for it. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care if people think I'm crazy. I'm just going to do it.
I'm going first? Okay. I mean, for me, I guess I feel like I've always been kind of second guessed. I didn't do amazing in high school, didn't do amazing in college, had a lot of jobs, was always frustrated with the way things were going, and worked in corporate in America, worked for American Express, and kind of started realizing, holy shit, there are just like mythologies just everywhere. And we all believe them. And the big ones are basically like, you need permission. Fuck that. Like, go do it. Like, if you want to know if you can do it, just try to do it and just see what happens. Like, that's it. But to be honest, a lot of the gumption, like you're like, she takes way more initiative than I do. Like we do dance, we do like all these clubs, like.
Sorry, just dragging him along.
That's my philosophy, but like the embodiment, like.
I don't know. I feel like things feel really scary, and then you just try them. And you're like, oh, it was fine. It's like, and I'm okay. Like when I reached out to you, I actually was on the fence of interrupting you because you're like clearly at White Heron, like talking to some guy. And you said the word Descript, which is this transcription tool. And I was like, okay, noted. But I was like, they kind of seem in it. I don't want to interrupt and like insert myself. And then I was like, oh, but there's so few people in Portsmouth who work in tech. We probably are neighbors because like we're at White Heron. Like, I just can't let him go away. I can't let him get away. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the worst thing that happened? I'd be like, excuse me, lady, we're in a very important conversation. I'd be like, oh, sorry, bye. But yeah, I just feel like what is the downside versus what's the upside? The upside could be huge. You have no idea where like, let me follow this step on this stone and then let me step on this stone. And building this app River is such a clear indication. Also a lot of the things I do, a lot of the chances I take are selfish. When I was in Miami, I was like, shoot, I'm not really meeting cool people. I don't know why I thought we would like living in Miami, by the way. I'm not really meeting interesting people. Let me host this brunch just selfishly so I can try to meet somebody. And people really respond to that initiative. A lot of people are like eager to follow. They just don't quite have the courage to step it out.
There has to be a leader. Someone has to take the charge. Everyone wants to get together. Someone just has to be the person to get them together.
Yeah. And then it's like, great. Okay, well, that led me to building this, like, I made a sign up form and then it went viral. And then I had 10,000 people being like, hey, when are we getting together again? And I was like, well, shoot. None of these apps are working. And then the host of the podcast was like, do you want to come work for me? I was like, oh, God, no, you seem like a lunatic. No. I'm too old to work 90 hours a week again. And he was just like, well, what if I invest $100,000 and you build a startup instead? I was like, deal, we can do that. So I just look at the downside versus the upside. And it's like the upside is unimaginable. You cannot even, I couldn't even imagine my life 3 years ago.
Exactly. Just to use this White Heron example, look at the butterfly effect of that. You interrupt our conversation.
Yeah.
I then stalk you online. And then I book you on the podcast. And then now you're here telling your story to people. Just like, I'm not tooting my own horn here. I'm just saying, look at what happens if you just take a chance and put yourself out there.
And the worst thing what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You'd be like, okay, lady, excuse me. And I was like, I was short about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, I've got 2 more questions for you. First, during season 1 of Seacoast Stories, we had a lot of husband and wife combos on the show who also worked together. And I never really had the conversation with them about managing that relationship. How do you guys manage both successfully running River together and successfully running your marriage? I can't even imagine what that is like.
We've worked together a couple other times, and our badge of honor is that
still married.
How long did it take? How long did it take for people to figure out that we worked together? And at some places,
we're married.
Never figured it out.
Oh yeah, we worked together before, and some people they have no idea that we're married. I'm like, well, our last name's Lambert, and we both show up at the same time.
Lambert's pretty common. We're married.
How do you do it? Because do you have to set a clear okay, we're not talking about work anymore. It's dinner or whatever.
It's really hard to do that.
Yeah. I do think boundaries are hard to set. The thing about working together is that the highs are very high and the lows are very low. So today we kind of had a low day. One of our biggest customers maybe could churn or leave the platform, not really through a fault of our own exactly, but so it's just like when there's sad news, you're both very sad, and when there's good news, you're both extremely hyper and just like, where do you put this energy? Also, I don't think I think it's very unusual that people don't work together these days. I think if you look back in history, families did work together. They ran restaurants, they were bakers, I think it used to be very normal for spouses to work together. So I don't actually think it's that unusual. I think it's just recently unusual. But it's incredible to build something together. A lot of people build a family together. A lot of people cultivate land together. We build a business together. And I love having our lives. Like when I first got the investment money, I was like, can you please be my co-founder? One of the ideas was like, our lives are in sync. So we both have had big careers in tech, really reputable companies. And it's like, okay, you're having a quiet, lull time. You could take some vacation. I'm in the middle of a product launch. Our lives are completely unaligned, or oh, we had a date night and now a shitstorm is happening and I need to solve it. And it just was like constantly frustrating. But now our lives kind of ebb and flow together. So when it's really busy, it's like, well, we're ordering Thai food and we're working till 1. Or it's like, hey, actually things are calm and we had a really good week. Like, let's take the day off and go ice skating. So, and we get to travel together. So it's just like you're really together in tune.
I don't know if we answered your question though.
No, we didn't.
That's okay. We have one final question, then we have to kick you guys off.
Okay.
So this is the unveiling of the final question for season 2. We have this question that we end every episode every week with. So I'll ask it to both of you. Ryan, I'll start with you. Knowing what you know now in hindsight, what advice would you give to your 22-year-old self, knowing how things have turned out for you?
Take more risks. Just take more risks. Yeah.
How about you, Rae?
Yeah, something along risk, I would say. Not risk like physical bodily risk, but like the way you build wealth. And when I say wealth, I don't mean money per se. I mean social capital, friendships, is applying your special knowledge to leverage with, and I just think I wish I would have owned something sooner, like tried to start a business even sooner. I started my last business in 2018 and could have done it sooner. You just learn so much. And I think I would have, my 22-year-old self, I would say, try to find the thing that only you can do, the thing that is so unique to you, that's just like a combination of your talent, your skills, what the world needs, and just really try to find that sooner.
I love that. That's a great place to leave off. Everyone, please, Rae and Ryan Lambert of the River app. They're doing great work over there. You can just drop the mics right there. Did I hit record? I did. Okay, thank God. All right, you guys can leave. I'm a producer as well, and the number one cardinal sin is not pressing record, but luckily I did. Okay, so it is now time to transition to the Seacoast Trivia portion of the evening. To help me out with this, I have a special friend of the podcast who's going to start doing some talking for me as well. She was a guest on season 1 of Seacoast Stories, and she also interviewed me a few weeks ago. She is the owner of Empowering Path in Portsmouth, and she is one of the top 20 spiritual guides in the entire world. Everyone, please welcome to the stage, Alex Bynum. Alex, you can grab that mic over there. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
I'm so excited to
Being
be
my
here.
co-host of the evening. Okay, so this is how this is going to work. I need everyone to stick with us here because this may get complicated. Alex has randomly selected 3 numbers that are all on the bottom of your goodie bag. So get very familiar with your numbers. Alex is going to call out these numbers, and you're going to come join us on the stage. You are all competing in Seacoast Trivia for a very cool prize given to us by one of our guests tonight. Alex, what are your 3 numbers?
Okay, the 3 numbers, they are 18, 32, and 67. If you'll join us on stage.
18, 32, 67. Who's it going to be? Woo! I know her. Who else? Come on, who else? Don't be shy. This is a chance to win a very cool prize. We have one brave soul. Is this a second one? Wow. These are all people I know, too. This is great. Okay, so we have 2. Who's missing? 18, 32, 67. Was that it? All right, Alex, we had you choose a backup number for situations just like this.
That's right. Okay, 54. 54, please come to the stage.
Who's got 54? It's this guy. Okay, the 3 of you are going to take seats right here. You 3 are going to be passing that mic across. So, Brooklyn, you can have that mic. Okay, first of all, going to conduct quick interviews. Please give us your name and what town you live in.
My name is Karen, and I'm from Manchester.
Karen from Manchester.
My name is Brooke. I'm from Greenland.
Hi, I'm Mark, and I was in Newcastle, then Portsmouth, now Hampton.
So Hampton.
Hampton.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Is Greenland even a thing? Like, I feel like I've never even been to Greenland.
It's very much a thing.
Is it? Okay, there's clearly some Greenland people who are very
country,
offended
a
by what I
town.
just said. Apparently there's a really cool cider place there that I just found out about that I need to get to. Bird Dog, maybe future guests on the show. I have been to that Target. Okay, so stick with me here and how Seacoast Trivia is going to work. I'm going to explain the rules, and if you don't get them, don't worry. You'll pick them up as we go. So, Seacoast Trivia, we have 3 rounds, 3 categories in each round, 3 questions in each round. Every correct question or every correct answer is worth 1 point. If Karen were to get the question wrong, then Brooke would have the opportunity to steal that point. You have 15 seconds to answer each question correctly. I'm keeping time. I run a tight ship. At my old job, they called me Tight Ship Troy, TST for short. So I run a tight ship. You're getting cut off at 15 seconds. The whole thing? Come on, Lindsay. Okay, so 15 seconds to answer each question correctly. 1 point per correct answer. If you get it wrong, the person next to you has 1 chance to get it right. If Brooke were to get it wrong, then it's dead. Mark from Hampton does not get a shot to get it correctly. Great point. What, do you want to come up here? Do you know my script? They can phone a friend and ask the audience. You only get 1 opportunity to do this. So be very thoughtful about when you use this. Now, the catch, if you use one of these lifelines, you have to go with the answer that the audience member is using. So if we want to use the phone a friend, raise your hand, and one of you is going to have to pick the friends that you trust the most because you're going with their answer. In addition to all of this, there is 1 bonus question at the end of each round. So, Karen, in round 1, you will get the bonus question worth 2 points. Then, Brooke, you will get a bonus question in round 2. Mark, you will get a bonus question in round 3. We have 3 rounds, and then there's the final Jeopardy round, if you will, where we're going to break the whiteboards out, and there's going to be worth 5 points. Does all of this make sense? Okay. I'm juggling a lot up here. I'm going to try to keep score, but please keep me honest with that as well. Math was not my strong suit. But okay, we are ready to start the trivia portion. Karen, you take the mic. Question 1 goes to you. Please tell us, Alex, what the first Seacoast Trivia category is.
The first category is Seacoast food.
Wow, Seacoast food. Okay, I'm going to start the 15 seconds after you are done reading the question, Alex. So it's on you for Karen.
All right, you ready, Karen?
No.
Okay. 4 Portsmouth restaurants have been featured on the Food Network's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Name one of those 4 restaurants.
The Friendly Toast.
Oh.
Incorrect. Brooke, chance to steal. You can
I feel
usually
like you can't use phone a friend right now.
You can. I mean, there's only 3 rounds, you know? So.
Okay, I'll phone. I want gray sweatshirt, man.
Oh, Jake. Which one do you want to go with?
The kitchen.
That is correct.
That is correct. Let's go, Jake. Well done. Okay, so Brooke has 1 point, and you get the next question.
Great.
So question to Brooke.
Brooke, Lil's Cafe is the creator of the Seacoast famous cruller. But did you know that Lil's Cafe also owns 2 other Seacoast businesses, both of which also sell Lil's crullers? Name one of those businesses.
Stella's.
Correct.
Let's go, Brooke. Okay, 2 points for Brooke. Now you pass to Mark. Mark from Hampton, Portsmouth, and everywhere on the Seacoast.
No, I actually haven't been on the Seacoast very long. I'm in big trouble.
All right, Mark. This popular Portsmouth spot offers a weekly special called Shuck-a-Buck, where diners can order as many oysters as they want for $1 a piece?
I'm probably going to get this wrong, but because I don't remember that being the case at the Franklin Oyster House.
Incorrect.
That's tough. Karen, chance to steal. Do you want to use your lifeline? You can use the lifeline.
Oh, I can phone a friend. This guy here with the hat.
This guy here.
Yep.
Correct.
That's it.
Good job, Jay.
Taylor and I, who just gave Karen that answer, had a lovely jump in Jay's date. I hope Jay is not here because I did not like the oysters. Okay, so at the end of round 1, Karen has a point, Brooke has 2, Mark has 0. Oh, we have the bonus question as well. Bonus question goes to you, Karen.
Karen, this Seacoast coffee shop made headlines this fall when they released a pink t-shirt with the words disgustingly pro-women across the front of it in response to an angry Yelp reviewer.
I know what it is,
Woo!
but I don't know the name. Can I phone a friend? I have an ornament on my Christmas tree.
This is
Okay.
so funny.
Carly, what is it?
Flamingos,
That
yes.
is correct.
Flamingos Coffee, soon to be featured in season 2 of Seacoast Stories. Okay, so now at the end of round 1, Karen, you just got 2 points because that's the bonus question. 2 points for Karen, 2 points for Brooke, 0 for Mark.
It's okay, Mark.
Alex, what is
Our next
round 2?
topic is, Troy, you'll like this. It's Seacoast Stories. And here we go.
Uh-oh. How much do you really listen to the show?
Every
We might have to give
day.
more lifelines.
Which Portsmouth brewery is responsible for brewing the Seacoast Stories?
Loaded
IPA?
question.
Correct.
That's damn right, and it's on tap at the back.
Mark's turn.
Brooke, you're crushing it.
I studied.
Everyone, please go see Brooke at Seacoast Kettlebell, the best gym on the Seacoast. Okay, Mark.
Mark? Troy has said on the show that the conversation with this beloved farm is the show's most popular episode.
That should have been easy.
You don't listen to the show, do you, Mark?
Phone a friend.
I'm gonna.
Why are you here tonight?
I gotta get a point, so I'm gonna shout out to my friend over here. With
That is correct.
wow,
That's correct.
thank you, dear. I owe you a drink.
Are we all out of lifelines now? Has everyone used their lifeline? Okay, point for Mark. Okay. Yeah. It's tough out here. Okay,
tough.
question
Okay.
for Karen.
Okay, Karen. Which disease do Troy and brass tacks photography owner Andrea Schwanbeck, I hope I pronounced that
Nailed
right,
it.
have in common?
Diabetes.
Correct.
Shout out to Andrea. She's here somewhere tonight. Okay, point for Karen. That's 3 points for you.
And we're at our bonus.
Okay, bonus question for 2 points, Brooke, to add to your lead.
All right, Brooke, no pressure. This Seacoast town was discussed in a strange episode with UFO expert Mike Stevens because, according to legend, this town is home to one of the first widely believed UFO sightings in history. Name that town. I thought you studied.
Well, I didn't cheat.
There's only so many towns. I'm not even timing you right now. What am I doing?
Start it over.
Yeah. You have 10 seconds, Brooke. Name a Seacoast town.
It's not Greenland.
3,
It's not
2,
Stratham.
1.
Oh, incorrect.
It's tough. Mike, opportunity to steal 2 points for the bonus question.
Any negatives if I get it wrong? No.
No
Exeter.
negatives.
You got it? That is correct.
Yes. Okay, Mike.
He's coming back. He's
Exeter,
coming back.
home to the UFO festival. As Amy, artist Amy, is in the house tonight, she corrected me on the podcast to tell me that it's Exeter, not Exeter. So shout out to Exeter, lovely town. Okay, so round 2 is over. The scores, Karen, you've got 2. Brooke, you've got 3. Mark, you've got 3 now as well. Okay, Mark. Okay, Alex, what's category number 3?
Our final category is Seacoast history. If you don't know this about Troy, he knows a lot about history.
Yeah, U.S. history major. How's that serving me now?
Tonight it does. All right, the first question for Karen. He got
No,
the
it's for
bonus.
Mark.
It's for
for
Mark?
Mark. Yeah.
Mark, the Treaty of Portsmouth was signed in 1905, marking the official end to an international war involving
This is so
two
random.
countries. Name one of those 2 countries.
Russia and Japan.
Correct.
Wow, he goes for both. Okay. Okay, Mark. Mark, the audience loves you. Four points for Mark.
Are you ready, Karen?
I don't know. I'll do my best.
All right, Karen, you got this.
Okay.
Which submarine served in World War II and is now a museum in Portsmouth's North End?
It's Alba something. Albacore.
Yes. Okay, Karen, pop off.
You guys have set the bar really high.
Brooke, Portsmouth in 1623, Dover in 1623, Exeter in April 16.
Oh boy, hold on.
Am I doing this wrong?
Don't read the years. Go on, you're fine.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Okay. Portsmouth, Dover, Exeter, and Hampton were the first 4 settlements in New Hampshire, dating back to the 1620s, when the English were exploring the New World. Which of these? Oh, that's why. Whoops. All right. Well, which of these towns was settled last?
Read the towns again.
Portsmouth, Dover, Exeter, or Hampton? Which of these
So you
towns
got multiple choice, Brooke.
was settled last?
I'm going to go with Hampton.
That is correct.
Let's go, Brooke. Yes, it was by a nose. Portsmouth and Dover were 1623. Exeter and Hampton were 1638, but Hampton was just slightly a few months later.
I don't know history. I was just listening to the dates. So
Well done.
just to be honest.
Well done. Okay, so now the bonus question for Mark. Now we still have the final question. I don't know what the scores are. I've lost count.
Mark, you ready?
I guess.
Okay. This town in Maine is the oldest town in Maine.
Nope. Mark's by him's lonesome.
It's
5 seconds, Mark. Name a Maine town, Mark.
It's not.
Nah,
Portland.
all right, Mark, you're
It's
done.
Next to,
Mark, you're
next to
done.
Portland, sorry.
Mark, you're done. Karen for the steal to claw back into the game.
Is it Kittery?
It's Kittery.
It's
Let's
Kittery!
go. Wow. Okay. Okay. So what are the scores? Does anyone know?
Is anyone keeping track?
Karen, I think you're at 4. Brooke, I think you're at 4. And I think Mark's at 5. Let's go with that. You're at 4. Everyone's at 4. Okay. Great. Okay, Kate, we need you to bring up the whiteboards for Final Jeopardy, if you will. So we are all tied at 4. I haven't figured out what to do in the case of a tie. I should have foreseen this. Lindsay says Karen's at 5. There's no way. You think so? Should I trust a blonde girl? All right.
Oh.
Please do. Okay, so Karen's at 5. How about that? Okay, so this is how this is going to work. Alex is going to read the question. You are going to write your answer on the whiteboard, and then you're going to keep it hidden to yourself. And while you do that, I'm going to tell the audience about something very cool. Okay? No, spelling does not count. Alex, read the final.
The final question for tonight. In an early episode of Seacoast Stories, Troy admitted that he'd never heard of a famous New Hampshire landmark. Since that episode, he has heard from several disgruntled listeners regarding his ignorance. Name that landmark.
All right, so write down your answer. You have a bit to think about that, not show anyone. While they write down their answers, I want to tell you about one of my favorite places on the Seacoast. Tonight's presenting sponsors, Lainey and Lou. Lainey and Lou is very special in my heart, and they are very important to the fabric of Seacoast Stories. They started in 2015 in Exeter, and they also have a new location in Portsmouth's West End Yards, which they started in 2023. It's a great place that I love to go work on Seacoast Stories at. Like many of you, I work remotely, and the Portsmouth spot is the perfect place to plop down my laptop, grab some coffee, an epic smoothie, a grain bowl, or they also have these vegan baked superfood donuts, which I don't know what's in them, but they're very good, and they're even diabetic friendly. So strongly suggest you get one of those. Plus, it is a great place to connect with Seacoast professionals, to connect with or be future guests for the podcast. That's where I met you, Alex, so how about that? At Lainey and Lou, they create real food, feed the soul, inspire a community, and best of all, they buy local and organic whenever possible. And they are also woman-owned. What could be better than that? How about this deal that they're offering listeners of Seacoast Stories? They're offering 20% off with the code STORIES all January on online checkout only. That is 20% off, code STORIES online at Lainey and Lou. Thank you, Lainey and Lou, for all you do. Thank you for supporting the show. Was that enough time for you to write correct answers?
The time has come.
Okay, we're gonna do this one by one to build the suspense. Karen, please flip your answer. She says Mount Washington. No, I'd heard of Mount Washington. That's incorrect. Brooke, what about you? Blank, Brooke. You could have named something. You've lived in New Hampshire your whole life. You couldn't have come up with one landmark? Wow. Mark, this is for the win, Mark. You're the crowd favorite. What did Mark write?
It's too ironic, so it's too easy.
The what?
Portsmouth Lighthouse.
The Portsmouth Lighthouse? Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's the second one.
Jake, take the mic. Tell everyone.
Well, I don't know. Is it Yokin's token? Is it the whale sign?
No.
Maddie, what about you?
Noble Lighthouse?
No.
That's in Maine. Who's got it? Taylor, what about you?
Old Man in the Mountain.
The Old Man in the Mountain.
Correct.
Because it doesn't exist anymore.
But I hadn't heard of the landmark. No, it doesn't exist anymore. There's no technicality here. No. This was in the episode with Stone Face Brewing. I've gotten so much shit for not knowing what Old Man in the Mountain was. I now see it everywhere. I was very new to the Seacoast at that time, okay? All right, so none of you got it right. So who had the most points entering? Was it Mark or was it Karen?
They were.
Who won? Karen? Clap it up for Karen if she won. Clap it up for Mark if he won. It's your call, Alex. Who won?
Tonight's winner is Karen.
Let's go, Karen. Yes. Karen, do you want to know what you won tonight? So Karen has won something that is worth hundreds of dollars in value, and it is given to us tonight by someone who is actually mentioned in Seacoast Trivia. That is my dear friend, Andrea Schwanbeck at Brass Tacks Photography in Fleet Street. She's offering a free mini session for you, Karen, a free, whatever it is you want to celebrate, or if you're getting married soon, engaged, grandkids, you can take photos of whatever big event going on in your life. Andrea and her amazing team will photograph it for you. So I'll coordinate you and Andrea together later, and I can't wait to see these photos. Everyone, please clap it up for our three contestants. Yes, leave that here Alex, thank you so much for your assistance. Look at this incredible sportsmanship from our people who clearly do not listen to the show. Alex, thank you very much. All right, how about that? How we all doing? Amazing. Okay, so we are ready for guest number 2. This person is making her Seacoast Stories debut. She is the reason why half of you in this room tonight have your jobs. She is the Seacoast career seeker, the job seeker, the job whisperer, I've heard her referred to. She is a straight up badass, is the first impression that this woman had on me when I first met her. So please, everyone, give a warm Seacoast welcome to the owner, founder of JOBTALK LLC, Miss Krystal Hicks, everybody. Krystal, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I urge all of you, as you listen to Krystal, to get questions ready for her and to also submit them in the Q&A box that is back on the merch table. So Krystal, you are the newbie to the show, so I'm less familiar with your backstory than everyone else. So I want to find out more about you. And I've heard bits and pieces of this story, but I would like to hear it from you here tonight because it's kind of wild and unconventional. You used to work at UNH, and after that, you worked at Lindt, the chocolate company, which apparently has big offices in Stratham.
Their U.S. headquarters.
Hi, that's crazy.
1,300
Why is that?
people.
Why is that in Stratham? I have no idea.
3 billion truffles a year made right here in Stratham.
Wow, who knew? That's wild.
It smells amazing.
So you were there, and the way that you left that company was pretty wild. So can you tell me how you left Lindt and why?
Sure. So I was the corporate recruitment manager for Lindt US, team of 1. And jobs have been my job for about 17 years. So leading up to that, going through like running career services at UNH, coming into Lindt, I knew that I wanted to start my own career counseling practice at some point. But it was just always like the retirement job. I was like, oh, I'll get to it someday. You know how we always do. And Lindt was, if I'm being totally honest, Lindt was the first time I actually was making money in my life. And coming from not a lot of money, I think we tend to hang on to those jobs when we find them. But after 4 years, I had paid off my student loan debt. I had started saving money. I was like, what the fuck is this balance in my savings account for the first time? What is this? And I kind of felt like I could finally start making decisions that weren't just financially motivated. It was like, I actually really want to own my own time. I was working like 60 hours a week. And so I basically gave my boss a 12-month notice and just said, I really want to do this and I'd love your support. And she was totally down and was great. And so I just started building up JOBTALK on the back end, under the radar.
Why the 12-month notice? That's unheard of.
I think I wanted to save enough money to pay my bills for a year in case the whole thing crashed and burned. I was extremely practical. So for me, it was kind of like, all right, here's the point. Let's save the money. And I also I had a lot of building to do. I built my own website. I had a lot of content to put out. I wanted to build out the structure. So for me, it's like, I'm not a risk adverse person, but I'm also not super impulsive. So I needed to kind of build it at that pace for myself.
Okay, so before we start talking about JOBTALK, just backtrack for me. Why are jobs your job? What do you love so much about helping people get jobs?
Great question. I mean, I think it's ironic that I do what I do because I'm the product of 2 people that always kind of struggled to maintain gainful employment. So, you know, I was a journalism major in college and I graduated from UNH in 2007. Oh, I saw a couple fist pumps in the air. Yeah, journalism majors. Too bad they just got rid of that.
Don't get in
UNH.
journalism.
Yeah. Well, I graduated and then like newspapers were just like catching on fire everywhere because it was 2007. And, you know, thank God for bartending. I literally bartended at Annika Jan's in Kittery and Rudy's in Portsmouth before they closed. And I walked into a staffing agency a year after bartending and just fell backwards into the employment sector. And I love it so much because employment is such a personal thing to people. I mean, I know my company is like my baby, but I think especially for a lot of women, like we get very career driven. And when we do, it's just like amazing things can happen. But I think it's also, there's a lot of intersections with personal stuff, right? Your relationship with money comes up, your relationship with authority, how you want to own your time or not. So for me, helping people kind of navigate the ins and outs of their own career is incredibly rewarding. Incredibly rewarding.
Okay, so you're at Lindt, you give the year notice, you want to start your own thing. Why did you want to start your own thing and not just keep running that corporate treadmill that so many of us, including myself, are stuck on?
Yeah, hey, listen, like the first time you make six figures in your life, when you come from nothing, you're like, I'm never leaving this, right? But I mean, I think I noticed it's like anything, right? You go in and you think, oh my God, this is the perfect company and the perfect this, and then you start to see the realities of everything. And I think I really wanted to own my own time. That was the ultimate thing for me. And I said, even if I make less money, at least I'm owning my own time. And that to me was power that no one else in my family ever really had. I watched my dad like work himself into an early grave. So for me, there's a lot of meaning behind like not being on that treadmill. But you don't know what you don't know until you get there. And so, yeah, I launched JOBTALK in April of 2019, which hilarious. You know, the universe is like, you go start that business. All right, wait a year. Let's see what happens. But it all worked out.
It has worked out. Everyone loves JOBTALK. Just in a nutshell, what is JOBTALK, and what services do you provide?
JOBTALK is a career counseling practice. So I work predominantly with people who are, I see about 400 clients a year, all industries, all functions, all levels, all states. It's virtual. And the majority of folks I work with reach out and just kind of say, hey, listen, like, I don't know what I don't know, but I know this isn't my thing anymore. And I just need to figure out what my next thing is. So a lot of folks were just I'm helping them uncover different things that they can leverage their transferable skills to move into. A lot of transitioners right now, right? I mean, 2021 alone, 47 million people quit their job and 50% of them completely switched industry and function. So there's a lot of
Why?
people.
Why do you think that happened?
COVID. Oh my God. Who stayed at home through COVID and did all of that introspection around like, do I even like my job? Do I like this company? You're here with your boss. Don't raise your hand, but it's like, I think there's something to that journey that a lot of us went on. And I think a lot of people left the pandemic era and was like, no, life is too short. Like I gotta switch this up. So I mean, I love that. I always applaud that.
What do you think, just for you personally, not speak on behalf of the people that you speak to, what do you think it means to have a fulfilling and meaningful career? Ooh,
one of my favorite quotes by this woman, Laura Berman Fortgang, she has a great TED Talk. She says, career satisfaction so rarely comes from what we do. It usually comes more from who we get to be while we do it. And I think your career is this vehicle that you're in that you can go a lot of different places, but I think it's so much more than the transactional doing of work. I think it's really about like, who do you truly want to be? Sometimes I work with folks and they say like, oh, I just really want to help people. And I'm like, hey, that's a really altruistic sentiment, but like, how do we ground that in a job search? And so I'll say, who do you want to help specifically and how do you want to help them? And like, that's where we really start uncovering for people like, I love being the person who gets to be the strategic thought partner to leadership, or I love being the person who's behind the scenes and like really just make sure that my team members have everything they need, right? They're dealing with the front line. And so it's like really, really fun to kind of help people figure out who it is that they actually want to be. It's so much less transactional than just the work that they're doing.
Yeah, with COVID being the big transitional moment, there was a way that people before COVID viewed their careers. Mostly this is just like, gotta live for the weekends. This is what you gotta do to get by. Don't really care what I do. But then post-COVID, it seems to have been a big sea change where we actually want to like what we do. We want it to be deeply fulfilling. And we actually don't even care if we make less money doing it. Would so much rather live our lives, which we just realized are actually quite short and can be taken from us at any time. And we can be locked in our house for
How
like
dare
caged
you?
animals for
How
a
dare
while.
you want more?
Exactly.
How dare you want work-life balance?
Yeah.
How dare you want flexibility?
So what changes have you noticed in the workforce in terms of what they want out of their careers now post-COVID as opposed to pre?
Oh, flexibility is the number one word that I hear. I think the entire employee-employer relationship has shifted drastically. I mean, look at the fact that, we have the gig economy, right? So you have a whole subset of people now, a generation or workforce now that no longer has to rely on one employer for 100% of their income. That changes the power dynamic. The fact that, I can purchase my own health insurance, right? Like when I got out of college, 2007, like we didn't have health, like I needed benefits, right? That was like the carrot on the stick for that first job that I think a lot of us took, right? And now you can stay on your parents' health insurance till you're 26, I think. So I think the fact that people can actually get out of college and or out of high school and just take more risks and know that they can actually have healthcare coverage and whatever. So this post-COVID especially era, the power dynamic has shifted drastically. And that's why you hear so much more about employer branding, right? Like companies have to invest, or if they're smart, they will invest in their employer brand, which to break that down is like the why behind the organization. So when I was interviewing for Lindt, for example, saying to my VP of HR, she'd be like, what do you need from me, to be supporting, typical interview question, right? What do you think you'd need to be successful in the job? And I said, listen, I was coming from UNH, running career services. And I'm like, my students can tell me all day long why they want to eat your chocolate, but not a single one of them can tell me why they want to work for you. So you have a great product brand, but you have no employer brand. So there has to be an investment. There has to be resources allocated to this kind of work because it's a machine to build. But I think the employers that understand that absolutely attract top talent and retain their people. So the employers that are putting transparent pay in their job descriptions, right? On their website, talking about their benefits, like really kind of making sure that their people know, hey, we actually see you as a whole person. Like they are going to do better in this kind of a market than others, period.
So I'm sure a lot of the people that you speak to, we hear this phrase all the time, take the leap. When is the right time to take the leap, to jump from my corporate career and start something like JOBTALK, or start the barber shop of my dreams, or whatever business, or I want to start a podcast. Like who would do that, such a thing? What advice would you give to someone who is weighing taking the leap, who is stuck in one career situation, wants to go do their own thing? What would you say to that person so that they approach it in the most responsible way, smart way, whatever?
I do say this all the time. Sometimes I'm working with clients and they're like, maybe, but I've always had this idea. And I'm like, wait, let's talk about that. I think people have to figure out there's a really big difference between compromise and sacrifice. Right? So when you're in your career and you're feeling a certain kind of way, everyone's line there is different, right? So compromise is like short-term pain point, right? We can see the horizon. Okay, this job is grueling, but I know it's going to work out, right? Sacrifice is like when you want to own your own time and you've been thinking about this idea forever and you know that you have like the motivation to get it done, but you're just like, well, it's like you're sacrificing the dream. And it's like life is short. Like literally, like I legitimately I still had my apartment. I didn't own my home yet. I had my older car. I pared my whole life down and said, what does my life actually cost me? And I tell people to do this all the time. Bust out an Excel spreadsheet. What do you pay every month? Because when you are talking about the gig economy and self-employment, it's no longer about salary, right? We pay our bills on a monthly basis. And I literally did the math and was like, all right, if I can make $40,000 a year, that means I can still get sushi a couple times a week. It means I can still go to Studio One and have my spin studio membership. It means I can still have the things that make me feel like I'm living a whole life and I'm not sacrificing these things that matter to me. But I had to get that number down. And that's the number that I was like, all right, I'm going to save this much. And if I hit the 6-month point and I'm like blowing through savings, I'll ripcord and I'll go find another corporate recruiting job. And so I tell people, figure out what your threshold is. What is that flag in the sand for you when you feel like it's time to ripcord? But if you're not a risk-adverse person, planning can help. I would have had a panic attack every day if I was waking up and I didn't have anything in savings. And I commend people. I know plenty of people that have just been like, nope, fuck this job. I'm out. Like, I'm going to start the thing. And they do it. And I commend those people. I am not that person. I would be just popping lorazepam like literally every day if that was like, yo, that is not my path. Like, I needed to plan it. You know, I'm a control freak. I wanted to build the website. I do my own books. Like, I wanted to find a CPA. I wanted to learn all the things. And like, that takes time.
On the subject of money, you did say to me in a private conversation, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, that you're totally content with the amount of money you're making right now, and that if you didn't get another client from, you know, in this room tonight or elsewhere, that you would be totally content with that. That's not something you often hear people say. We are conditioned to want more, more, more. And then when we hit one milestone, we try to strive for the next rung on the ladder. We can never truly have enough. So it's very rare for someone to say that I'm good with what I have. So that just really caught my attention. Why do you believe in that?
That's a great question. I think, you know, we're all human. This is a capitalistic society. Everyone kind of is like, oh, everyone would love to make more money, right? I can pay my bills. I save money. I invest. I self-fund my own retirement. I make more money than my parents ever made, than anyone in my family has ever made. I was a first-generation college student. Like, when my dad died when I was 20, like very unexpectedly, and he was the person that I lived for the validation from. Like, I am my father's daughter, right? And so when that happened, you just lose, there's a little bit of the pressure that ironically comes off, right? So like, I no longer my dad was a truck driver and a janitor, right? He cleaned the Portsmouth Music Hall. Like, it's like, who keeping up with the Joneses? Who are the Joneses? Like, I don't give a fuck what they're doing. Like, I love my life. Like, I don't ever want to have a golden handcuff situation. And that's something that I saw a lot of people run into, especially with COVID. There was a point when, if you remember, the market was crazy. People were paying a premium for talent. You were hearing about these inflated salaries that were getting thrown out to people. And I told so many of my clients, like, man, I'm telling you, I know you have this sweet offer. I know this is like an 80% raise on what you were making. Please hear me. Do not go inflate your whole life until you are in this company for at least 12 months. And some of them, it's like they would move, they'd get the new cars, they put their kids in the private schools, they do all the things. And then the hammer comes down, the market keeps us honest, right? That fluctuation bounces back the other way. And all of a sudden they're the heftiest line on the P&L and they're getting cut. And it's like, bro, you just handcuffed yourself to the fact that now you have to make that much money. Like, I'm making what I was making when I left Lindt. That to me is like the best thing ever. And I work a fraction of the time. And if I want to take a day off, I take a day off. And that there's literally nothing better. Like, I would never give up the control I have over my time in my life now to make more money, period. Someone said to me the other day, like, oh, like, when are you going to scale JOBTALK? You got to like start hiring some people, because I see 400 people a year. And I also work with companies and help them with their consulting around recruitment and stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. Like, if I never have to fucking manage people ever again, that's a great start. Like, I love my team at UNH.
Krystal Hicks,
I love my team at
everybody.
UNH. I love Raina. I love all the people that I've managed. I'm still good friends with the people that I had as direct reports, but I was managing a team of 6 at UNH. We had all 15,000 students rolling up under our umbrella. Like, it was a lot, and people management is not for the faint of heart. But man, I would so much rather be working with my clients, like, so much more, you know? And worst case, you got to wait, you know, maybe 4 weeks or something for an appointment. It's not like people have to wait 6 months to get on my calendar. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Okay, 2 more questions from you. You're amazing. I'm so glad that we're having this conversation.
you're amazing.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Gen Z in the workplace is something that comes up a lot, and it's something I'm super interested in, because I think they get a really bad rap for being the entitled generation and the lazy generation, and they want a promotion after 2 months, blah, blah, blah. You observe young people closely. Do they deserve the bad reputation that they get?
Absolutely not. How many Gen Zers do we have in the room? All right, cool. So I teach.
It's
at
so
UNH,
funny that we just call people Gen Zers. By the way, this came up at Creative Mornings recently, and we call boomers like it's boomer has such a
and
derogatory term.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of rude to just call someone a Gen Z, because that's kind of derogatory in its own way, because there's all sorts of, they're addicted to their phones, they're mentally unstable, blah, blah, blah. That's what they say.
Yo, I am 39. I am a millennial. And I remember when millennial was a dirty word. I remember when we were the most entitled. Dude, we were just passing the torch. We are just passing the torch. Like every generation has their moment. I honestly think Gen Z is pushing the envelope in all the right ways. I have actually seen real change happen at organizations that I've consulted for where their Gen Z interns or even recent hires would come in and really started questioning big things, like things where I feel like sometimes people be like, yeah, you're getting a little bit too big for your britches. Like, why don't you sit back? Like, why don't you go get the coffee intern, whatever. But you have a lot of, this generation has influence in different ways. Like they get shit done in different ways. So I commend Gen Z. I love my Gen Z students. I think they are absolutely pushing all the right envelopes in all the right ways.
Absolutely love to hear that. Krystal, you're amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. I have one final question for you. We ask the same final question at the end of every episode every week, and I'll ask it to you. Krystal, knowing what you know now, in hindsight, about how things have worked out for you, what advice would you give to your 22-year-old Gen Z self?
Well, I'm still a millennial. I would still be a millennial. We don't shake that part. Oh God, 22. Okay, so 22, it was a very specific time in my life because my dad had just died. My roommate and friend that I had lived with just died same year. 2006 was a terrible year. And, 22, I would just say like, girl, go get your ass in therapy. Like, why are you out here thinking you can just do it all on your own? Woo! Like, why
Who
are
else
you
is in
out
therapy?
Here, like,
Clap it up.
Like, the moment I realized as an adult that like hyper independence is a trauma response, I was like, oh my God, like parentified children, like all the things, like go find Naomi Rather, best therapist in the world, and go work on your shit, like, and realize you don't have to do it all on your own. And I say that seriously, like, I really wish I had done some of that work earlier because I didn't realize how all the things were connected. Your childhood stuff comes up, your, relationship with money and all of this, but the people pleasing and, driving your career in a certain way, especially being a woman, especially in corporate. I mean, there were times when like, I felt like the perception of my value was tied to how I looked, how I dressed. It was just, you're just dealing with all of that. And it's like the people pleaser in you doesn't know how to recognize the toxic stuff from when you should actually be kind of like playing the game corporately, right? So I would just totally I would say, keep doing what you're doing, make all the same decisions, maybe not with the men, different decisions, but the therapy, better therapy.
Wait, you can't just drop that.
Things.
You can't drop that in the final question. Do you need something to get off your chest?
No. Don't date bitch ass men. Yeah, no.
Woo-hoo, okay.
No. But like my partner now, we always joke about this. Like I wouldn't change anything because like now I met him and
shout out Jason.
Yeah,
Krystal's +1 tonight.
Yo, let
Not
me tell
a bitch
you, that
ass
online
man.
dating, it is terrible until it works, y'all. It is terrible until it works. So yeah.
Wow. I think we need to have a follow-up conversation on a future episode of the show. But Krystal Hicks, thank you so much for joining me. JOBTALK LLC, you all have coupons in your goodie bags to go get some career consultation from her. You can also ask her some questions about what to do with your life in the Q&A portion of the program. Okay, it's now time for things to get weird. This is the money machine portion of the program, so I need a lot of helpers with this. Kate, Andrew, and Brady are here to help set up this monstrosity of a device, which is a terrible idea on my part. Alex Bynum, I need you back up on stage. And I'm also bringing my best friend, Ben Simpson, on stage as well. He's here all the way from Somerville, Massachusetts. He's a recent grad of Harvard, if you've heard of that school. Recently got his doctorate in like evolutionary biology. He studies cavemen feet. It's wild. He's going to be our money counter for the evening because he's unbiased and he is smart, and I trust his ability to count money with 80 people watching him with close eye. Can someone also bring me a glass of orange juice? I think my blood sugar just crashed. If someone could do that, that would be great. for blood sugar. Okay, so Alex, please come back on stage. You grab a microphone somewhere. You have chosen 2 participants to join this money machine. Can you please tell me who the first participant will be? This is where your number comes into play here. Can we turn Alex's mic on? Thank you. Alex, what's the number? $22 left early. Oh, okay. Come up with another number on the spot.
Participant number 12 to the stage.
Number 12. Who wants to come win some money? Participant number 12. Ah, she's wearing this East Coast sweater. Very cool. Okay, so let me explain how this is going to work. We'll inflate this thing when I give you the cue. Ben, do you remember this? In middle school, every year, there was a guy who came and did an assembly. I think he sold magazines or something. And to entice us students to sell magazines on his behalf, he would say, like, okay, if you sell 100 magazines, you get to go in the money machine for 20 seconds. If you sell 200 magazines, you get to go in for 30 seconds. And then you just frantically grab the money as it's swirling around there, and then you would get to keep it. Do you remember this? Okay, he remembers it. So we're going to do this. Is this relevant to Seacoast stories at all? No. Is this stupid? Yes, but it's something I just want to do to change things up. So, who are you? What's your name? You're here to win some money? You're Ashley. Okay, wait, you've DM'd me. We've exchanged DMs. Okay, I know you. Okay, so Ashley, this is how this is going to work. Here, come over here. Come join me. So your name is Ashley. Where do you live, Ashley?
Dover, New Hampshire.
Ashley lives in Dover. Shout out to Dover. Okay, so this is how this is going to work. We're going to throw you in there for 20 seconds. And you have the opportunity to just grab as much cash money as possible. There's $760 in there. There's 2 $100 bills. There's 4 $50 bills. There's a bunch of 20s, 10s, 5s, and 1s as well. I hope you did your reflex warm-ups today because it's going to go by fast. So I'm going to cue the money-making music, and we're going to do a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and then you're going to go for 20 seconds. Not yet. Participant 1 is going to go. She's going to grab money. Participant 2 is going to go. Whoever grabs more money wins and keeps the money. That simple. Okay, blow up that thing. It's going to take like 5 seconds. Yeah, make sure it doesn't fall over. This is the top. This is so stupid. Is that secure all the way in the back? All right, cool. You ready to step in this thing? All right, let's do it.
Woo! Go, Ashley.
Yes, Ashley. Are those both turned on? Okay. I think, is this? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, close this thing, like pretty much all the way, and then we'll get the money flowing. Here, leave a little sliver in there for me to drop money in. Okay. Here's a rule for you. Sometimes it gets stuck. I did a bunch of trial runs in my apartment. My neighbors hate me. If it's stuck, you can't grab it, okay?
All right, are we going? Do we go?
No, hold on. Not yet. We need... All right, cue the money-making music. Don't start the timer yet. Okay. Are those don't? I don't think those are blowing up all the way.
Are we going yet?
Yeah, we're going. Go, grab money. If it's stuck, you can't grab it. 10 seconds. The money in the world, if it was a wealthy girl. 3, 2, 1. All right, you're done. Get out, Ashley. Take your money, give it to Ben. Clap it up for Ashley.
Good job, Ashley.
Don't let the money fly out. Close that up. Give the money to Ben. Great job, Ashley. How did it feel? How did it feel in the money machine?
Absolutely exhilarating.
Okay, I'm so glad. This segment here is brought to you by our friends at McConey Financial. Art and Jen are great people. They are here tonight. McConey Financial Management and Advisory is a concierge financial planning practice led by Art McConey, who is registered to service clients in 31 states. They have a team of experienced professionals dedicated to the highest levels of client service. Their hope is to empower their clients to achieve their financial goals through personalized financial planning, tailoring to each client's unique needs, and fostering collaborative relationships built on trust. If you are looking to get started on your financial planning journey in this new year, please reach out to Art and his wonderful team. Ben, have you counted the money? Okay, please tell me it's not a high number because this is all my travel money for the year.
We got $60.
All right, I can stomach that. Ashley got $60. Okay. There you go. There you go. Okay. Number 2, Alex. Who's our second participant?
Can I get 21 to the stage? 21.
Contestant 21 is in the bathroom. Oh, you hate to see it. Choose another number.
Goodness. All right, 30.
You can't nominate someone. 21. Who's 21?
21.
Come up.
Here we go.
You don't know what you just signed up for, do you?
Come on up.
Okay, contestant 21. I feel
What's
like
your
this.
name?
Not yet. Wait for her to get in there.
Kristen.
Kristen, where do you live, Kristen?
I live in Atkinson.
Where's that?
I used to live here in Portsmouth, but
Ah.
Atkinson is southern New Hampshire, a little bit further west.
Ah, well, welcome. Thank you for coming out here tonight. Can you beat more than $60?
Yeah.
What's your strategy?
Oh, I got fast fingers.
She's got fast fingers. Okay, let's get you in the money machine, Kristen. Yeah, just float your hands. Nah, you'll be fine. What? Just kick it around. All right, Ben, you can. Then we got Kate, if you want to close this in on her. Cue the money-making music. Don't ask
All
questions
right,
like
let's
that.
go.
She's going. Kristen's going. He's trying to get more than
10
$60. Can she do it? How much is she going to
5
get?
seconds.
Kristen, she's got
3.
Got piles
2.
of money.
1.
Yes, Kristen.
Stop.
Oh, I think she got it done. I really hope.
Woohoo!
Wow. Okay, yes, you keep that money right there. We were supposed to give you an apron. I totally forgot. I was going to give you an apron to collect the money in. Oh, well. Okay, you guys can start deflating this thing, this monstrosity. Give your money to Ben. He's going to count it. Remove this thing from my life. Now, I also want to bring up someone else to this already crowded stage. She doesn't know she's coming up, but I'm going to bring her up. She's the executive director of a nonprofit that was featured in season 1 of Seacoast Stories. I'm talking about Soul Models. Carrie Penna, please come up to the Seacoast Story stage. You don't have to worry about getting all the money out. We'll deal with that later. Carrie Penna, there she is. I really love this episode with Soul Models. It's a tremendous nonprofit doing amazing work. Carrie, thank you for being here tonight. Can you just please give the 1 or 2 sentences what Soul Models is all about?
Yes. We are a nonprofit that serves middle school girls in New Hampshire and Maine through an after-school program incorporating yoga, meditation, mindfulness, art for creative expression.
Clap it up for that. It's really cool.
Oh, I'm keeping this. Okay.
And very needed. Now, I also brought you up here to stall Ben. How we doing? Okay, need more time. Okay, so I will tell you that I have you up here because not only is the winner, who I'm guessing it's going to be Kristen, not only is Kristen going to get that money, but we are also going to match that amount of money and donate it to Soul Models, which
We're
really
actually
excited,
friends,
really
so I
excited
love
to do.
this. Thanks, girl.
Wow, how about that? Very. Now, what's to do in Atkinson?
Yeah.
Why'd you leave?
Family. A guy.
It all comes out. Okay. Okay, well, Krystal told us men suck, so. Yeah. Love that. Ben, what is is that a $100 bill you're holding? Oh boy. I don't know.
Should I say it? Should I whisper it to you and you say it? 630.
All right, we will check in on that one later. Carrie, I've got a big check, like one of those big, funny, like meme checks. We're going to take a photo with that later. We'll write the donation on that. Just find me at the end.
So I apologize. It sounds like you're going to be traveling to Dover.
Yeah, basically.
Maybe summer's worth.
Yeah, there goes my travel funds for the entire year, but it's okay. It's for good people and good causes. Get this thing out of my life. Kristen, congratulations. You can get off stage. Alex, thank you. I will need you for the Q&A portion. Ben, you should have lied. You could have said a lower number. Kind of mad at you for that, but it's okay. Ben also recently engaged to his beautiful fiance, Linda. I haven't gotten a wedding invite yet. What's up with that?
Turns out there's a lot of planning for a wedding. We're working on it.
So I've heard. Well, thank you for being here. And also, can I stay at your house tomorrow night? I'm going to a Celtics game afterwards. I haven't asked you this yet.
Sure.
Great, thank you. Because I'm flying out to Mexico on Saturday morning to go on Sarah Olson's yoga retreat, which I cannot wait for. My flight's at like 9:30 in the morning. Okay, we'll Uber there together. How beautiful is that? Okay. Sorry, you weren't invited. Okay, so thank God that is over. We have one final guest to get to. In the main events of the evening, this is someone who is near and dear to the Seacoast Stories family. The episode with Katy Marshall from this past summer was really the show that put Seacoast Stories on the map. Katy is an incredible human. She runs an incredible space called Studio One. She's got some breaking news that she's going to give to us in this conversation. But before she joins us on stage, I want to direct your attention one more time to the video screen.
My purpose is to help people remember that they have so much more power than they think and that they aren't a victim to their environment all the time. It's like you can choose differently.
It actually doesn't get much better than this right here. I'll be true about that.
What I have right now is so different. These things that happened are things you can't make up if you tried. And that's actually what gives me more confidence moving forward when I'm scared, because I remember how little I had and how little I knew actually at that time. And no matter how scared I was and how vulnerable I felt, all of these things still led me here, and I'm okay. And I think that's actually what keeps me taking risks. And obviously when you add a business, you add money, you add relationships, you add all the complexity that it is to be human. At the end of the day, underneath it all, I just want to make a difference. And I am nowhere near a perfect person at all. It's just I want to do good and I want to leave this place better than I left it. And I think that Studio One as a brand is we are one, we are more connected, we rely on each other, and we can do a lot of powerful things when we lean into that. And I think as I evolve and grow and gain confidence in other areas, I'm excited to see where it goes for everybody. This is just kind of the beginning, and I don't think I'm nearing an end anytime soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Katy Marshall. Yeah, sorry. I can't believe I'm giving away that much money. My gosh.
Yeah. It's rough.
Katy, what emotions come to your mind as you watch that video?
I would say gratitude, and that's kind of been the theme for me over the last year, there's been so much transformation. And I think that video, by the way, you did a lot of digging for those images. That was good.
Thanks to the
That was
Studio
really
One
good.
archives team
Yeah,
for
the
providing me with
archives
such.
is packed full of good stuff. And that it's amazing to see that video. What was it, 90 seconds? And you showed where it started and where we are now. And when I think about it in that way, because when you're in it, it's so hard to see progress, you know, and you're just trying to make it one step at a time and one day at a time, and you're getting hit with stuff left and right. And when you see it like that, I get emotional because I'm like, holy shit, yeah, cool. That's a cool story. Like we started there, and to now see how it's multiplied and how many other humans have joined on and helped support this vision and given everything that they have. Like it started with what you want to call a commitment or a sacrifice from me, but the team that I have surrounding me now is just individuals doing the same exact thing and pushing this vision forward. So it's amazing to see that.
Your story blew my mind away when you shared it with me in the podcast this summer. I mean, you had someone just ship like a bunch of 12 Stages bikes, 5, whatever. Stages is like the name brand of, top quality spin bikes. Just showed up at your house. Someone just shipped them across the country. And there's so many other weird things like that Studio One probably would not exist. Do you ever just like reflect on that about how like had this thing not happened, then I wouldn't have all this? Because it's so wild.
I would say that's a daily question of like, how the fuck did I get here? Do you know what I mean? I'm always asking myself that. And I think that is something I talk about a lot. And we've had many conversations at this point. You know the story really well, but things are so what feels like, I hate using the word stressful because we're all stressed in our own ways, but things are so stressful all the time. And while you're in it, like I said, it's hard to feel or to see progress and to really acknowledge what's happening. And I'm like losing my train of thought now. I'm like,
That's
gosh,
okay.
I'm like,
It's just
sorry.
me and
I'm
you
like,
talking.
Woo, I know, it's just me and you talking.
No one's here.
This is new. I'm used to lights, but like
Yeah,
loud
I mean, you're
music
on
and, like,
stage all the time.
singing and towel whips and like high fives and all that stuff.
Who's been to a Studio One class, by the way?
I'm like, who am I? Oh my
It
gosh.
is a vibe, Katie. It is a vibe.
Should I
Actually,
just deflect that whole question? Where are we
Actually,
now?
hold on. I
think I
want
did
to.
well.
I want to pause here. You do this really cool thing. So, I
think
made a
that's good.
commitment after the Nubble Lighthouse episode. When I interviewed the Nubble Lighthouse keeper, I had not been to the Nubble Lighthouse, and that was a grave mistake on my part. I've now since committed to, whenever I'm interviewing someone, experiencing the thing or the product or the service in some way beforehand, so that I'm better informed for the conversation. I had not been to Studio One when I'd spoken to you. In hindsight, I wish I had, but I have been several times since.
Yeah.
And you do this amazing thing at the beginning of every class
Yeah.
where you have everyone introduce themselves to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought we might do that here. Could you take
I
us
think
through
that's
what you do?
amazing. Amazing idea. Yeah, I mean, the goal is for our community is to bring people together. And I think the fitness space is something that can be very intimidating for most people. And what's awesome about Studio One is we are the place for people that are scared and don't exercise all the time or maybe have never done it before. And so a great way to break the ice is just to say hi to a neighbor. So if everyone in here can just say hi to a neighbor, maybe it's someone you don't know or haven't said hi to yet, just give them a wave, say hello, maybe get their name. Yeah.
Taylor, that's Kristen. She just got $612.
Yeah. Good friend to have. Cool.
This is great. Everyone knows each other. This is wonderful. And that's what they do at Studio One. And it's such an amazing community that you've built. Everyone, please bring it back here.
Yeah, no, stop talking. Okay. Kidding. I kind of do that in class too. It's like, okay, it's time to go now. Okay, stop.
People love to yap.
They do.
So you were, you trained at Soul Cycle, which is where you really learned the ins and outs of how to be a good spin instructor. You worked in studios all around this country, in California, in Nashville, but you ultimately came back to the Seacoast where you are from.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you want to come back here and open Studio One here?
yeah, I had experienced a few different cultures in my time, I would say. And I think for those of you that haven't listened to the story, it's just my upbringing. I really just focused on being an athlete and being a part of a team. And that was a space for me where I felt really confident and really comfortable. And I was able to make a difference with a group of people. And we were able to support each other and make each other better and make an impact. And I think when that career ended, I was lost for sure. And so essentially, I was in search of that and that feeling again. And so having experienced different cultures through the fitness space, which was new to me, I knew at that time that where I had been and what I'd experienced wasn't giving me the feeling of what I really was looking for, and that's community. And I think that's what Studio One has turned into. Yes, it's a gym, and maybe people seek us out initially because they're looking for a workout. But I think what people come for and stay for is the community feeling and that connection to others and feeling welcome and safe there.
Dive deeper into that, because we throw that term around a lot. I hear it a lot on the podcast, community. What does being a part of a community actually mean to you?
When you can feel safe somewhere, I think, and when you can walk in without judgment and feel supported without words, you just feel it, and it's something that's intangible. And I think that's not really something you can necessarily explain or have a formula for. It's really just an energy. I talk a lot in energy and kind of explain things in that way. It's like your intuition. You can feel when something's off or when something isn't right or you're questioning things. I just think a community it's like kind of an unspoken feeling of being welcome and connected and supported in a group of people.
In your several years of running Studio One, what would you say are the biggest lessons that you have learned running this business?
Trust your intuition, number one. Create boundaries for yourself.
What do you mean
that
by
was
that?
a tough one. Yeah, I didn't go into business with a business background. I like to teach cycling classes. And I was like, yeah, I can do this. You know, you kind of like, I'm the opposite of Krystal. We're like best friends, by the way, which is so funny. So I'm listening to her.
Get these two women in a room together and you will not get a word
I'm literally listening to her and I'm like, wow, I did everything the opposite way. And so here we go. It's very much, we are the yin to the yang. Where are you? I love you so much. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. She's the Krystal in the story of my podcast episode anyways. That's just been my ride or die. So wouldn't be here without her. But your question, what were we talking about?
What was I talking about? Oh, biggest business lesson,
Thank
setting
you.
boundaries.
Yeah, setting boundaries. So honestly, where I was going was I really only knew how to teach cycling classes and I felt very confident in that. I didn't know anything about business. And so to take, I guess you could call it a risk at that time, it was really just walking blindly towards something that was pulling so strong I couldn't avoid it. And I was making decisions as I made them, and I didn't have the experience or the wisdom of running a business, and I knew nothing. I knew nothing about it, and I had to learn every lesson the hard way, and I know there are many more lessons to come on this journey. So yeah, it's been an interesting ride, but I think boundaries was really what I was honestly lacking with myself. And I think that's reflective as to how I started the business. You know, I just was like, I can do this. Yeah, let's go for it and take a risk. But I had to learn how to not only protect my own boundaries, but put them in place, support the staff that I have on my team now that I'm managing people. Talking about managing people, it really does show you everything that's wrong with you as quickly as possible. You're like, oh, wow, I really thought I was a good person. Now I feel like shit. Thank you for showing me that. But it really takes so much humility and the ability to look at yourself in the mirror. So again, it's like, what do I need? What do they need? Where do we meet in the middle? Like, what's mine? What's theirs? And then that's just like continuous. And because you get different people around you, and then as you grow and evolve, you allow different things and you accept different things, and then you pull in different types of employees. And it's just this constant learning experience about yourself. So creating boundaries, step one. Find a bookkeeper earlier. Do that way sooner. That's a big lesson. Gosh, there's too many, but yeah, that's probably where I'll land.
Something that I've noticed that's very important to you is just you have this constant commitment to improvement, and you're always leveling up. Just recently this summer, you moved just beyond being a spin studio, offering more yoga and strength stuff as well. And then I know you guys are constantly tinkering, and you are going to make an announcement here very soon as well. Why is this something that is so important to you? Because business is good. Every Studio One class, you guys dropped the schedule Sundays at 5 p.m. for the upcoming week. Every class is booked solid by 5:04. It's crazy to watch.
It's crazy. I'm glad I don't have to do that. I just watch it happen.
It's wild.
It
But
would be
like
stressful.
business is good. I'm sure, you've got money in your pockets and the staff is doing good and everything's great.
Is that how I don't know.
I'm sure it is. Maybe I'm just presuming.
I don't know what
but,
world you're in, but it's a good one. I like
But like
that.
it seems like business is good. Why not just stick with what you're doing?
Oh, that's such a good question. It's such a good question. I just think, yeah, wow. I'm not going to sit here and say like I have all of these like 5-year, 10-year goals ahead of me and mapped out and planned. Like we already know I'm not a planner. Like that's clear from the jump. I just am running with it. And I think what's happening is opportunities are coming up as I get more clear on my vision and more open to letting things in and getting the right people around me. And that opens my perspective and opens the options up for me to evolve or to expand. Nothing about this is done by just me. It's not the case. There's no way I would be sitting here having the story to tell without the people around me. So I think that's really the answer. Yeah.
What I also know and love about you is everyone here who knows you sees you up on that bike as really confident and just like so comfortable in their own skin. But I know from conversations that you do deal with a good deal of self-doubt and can I do this?
Yeah.
Am I ready for this?
Yeah.
But what I admire most about you is a lot of people who have that same negative inner voice, they let it completely stop them from taking action and going after what they want. But you just push past that voice. How are you able to get past those inner demons?
Yeah, I have demons for sure. I mean, yeah, that's given. But I think the way that like I said, energy, the universe, I kind of talk about that, feeling supported by it because of opportunities that come up either out of the ashes of a shitty situation. The next thing kind of shows its face and it's like, oh my God, I understand why all of that just blew up. Not what I expected or what I planned, but like what a gift, right? And that's constantly happening. The more I trust that everything's going to be okay. And I think that's just the simplest like lesson. I try to trust that my intuition, I'm being guided. I feel that way. And I've been shown that and validated from that so much. I can't explain the things. Like you can't make up some of the scenarios that have occurred. Like you've said, you're like, it doesn't even make sense why that happened. And I can't tell you why either, other than I'm just trying to trust my intuition and be as open and honest and authentic with myself as I can as I move forward. And then things kind of happen in that way, if that makes sense. So that's how I push past it. Because I'm like, you know what? If it doesn't work, there's going to be a reason why. And I'm going to learn something and I'm going to get better for it at the end of the day.
So obviously physical health is very important to you running the studio, but I also know that mental health is very important to you. And you guys are actually partnering with another season 1 guest of ours, Connections Peer Support. I think they've got Carly in the building.
Carly.
I call it like it's Alcoholics Anonymous, but for people who are struggling with mental health issues. It's free. It's on Islington Street. It's a wonderful service. Studio One has an upcoming event with Connections, which is really cool. But for you personally, I know that you have had your own mental health struggles in the past, and you are now in therapy via Krystal's recommendation, the same therapist who apparently is the best therapist on the Seacoast.
I can vouch, yeah. You don't like love a good therapist, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, shit. Right.
Why did you start going into therapy?
Because I couldn't explain the feelings I was having. You know, like on the outside, you can see and maybe, you know, you look at someone and you kind of assume what their life is and don't know what people are feeling, right? And I think there were so many good things going on. But at the end of the day, it's like what you feel on the inside matters more than anything. And there's clearly some things out of alignment. There are things that I'm missing. And as I grow a team, like I said, managing people is a challenge. And I just want to be better and do right by them. And I think the more I expand and grow, the more challenges hit me. And I'm learning how to cope with all of the feelings that I have and how to still be a good leader. Because if I'm leading only with emotion and reacting to everything that happens that bothers me or I'm upset by, then no one's going to benefit from that. So being the leader, you have to take things to the chin too and be like, look, I'm paving this way and I'm choosing this path. I have to own my shit. And if I can't own my shit, then I can't expect anyone else to. And that's kind of the growth piece where I'm like, okay, I need to deal with this so I can be okay in my regular life. Like when you have your own business, that becomes your identity. Like when I talk to people, they're probably like afraid for me to go up to them. Like I'm going to beg them to come to a class or something. It's like, no, I'm just a regular person too. Like I'm not going to force you into a spin class. But it becomes so much of your identity. So like when you're outside of that world, like again, the boundaries piece, all of these things are learning for me that I didn't have, and growing a team shed light on those. And I needed to learn how to, and I'm still learning, what I can do to be better. Because that's my goal is like, I don't have ill intent with people truly. It's just things don't happen the way you expect them to, and then you learn. So you either can stay in the same pattern and keep repeating the same thing, or you can free yourself of it by addressing it. So that's why.
What do you think are the qualities of a good leader?
You have to be brave. You have to be humble and know that I think this isn't a quality. I'm just going to say, like, you're not going to know everything. You have to be okay with not knowing everything and being okay with uncertainty. And I don't know how to put that in a quality, but that's definitely a big thing. But I think being honest is huge. And that's something that I beg people for, whether they give it to me or not. As a leader, I think people respond differently as employees to their leader, if you will, or to the boss. It's like, are they being fully transparent or fully honest with them, with how they truly feel, right? And I do try with my team as best as I can to foster a safe environment for that, because people can't have an open line of communication, then you can't get anywhere. And just like any relationship, if you can't communicate how you feel, then it's just going to fester and then it blows up. So yeah, having an ability to not be reactive, that's a tough one. Yeah, it's a tough one for sure.
Well, Katy, we have 2 final questions for you before we get to the Q&A. I've told everyone that we have some breaking Studio One news to announce. Can you please tell us what this is?
Oh, before the 2 questions?
No, this is one of the 2 questions.
This is one of the 2 questions?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is huge news and it is unexpected. I mean, if you asked me this would be happening even 3 months ago, I would have said, no fucking way. Like, what do you mean? Not possible. So I am beyond excited to share that Studio One will be expanding to Portsmouth in February of this year. Yeah.
That's next month.
That is in a few weeks, my friend. Studio number 2.
Studio number
New
2.
Hampshire. We're coming to town, baby.
And
Let's
Katy
go.
will be the first to tell you she doesn't know what she's doing. Wow, this is incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's super
What more
exciting.
can you tell us? Where is
Nothing
this going to
else.
be?
No, that's it.
Nothing.
That's all you get.
Okay,
That's the
that's all we
nugget.
got.
Because the official announcement is coming out tomorrow on socials with more details. But that is all I
That was a
can
good
give
business
you
owner
tonight.
move. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Follow us.
Studio One coming to Portsmouth finally.
Woo!
I don't have to cross that damn bridge to get there now.
That's right. I did it for you.
This is very exciting. Well, Katy, I thank you so much for joining me. We have one final question. We ask the same final question at the end of every episode every week, and I will ask it to you. Katy, knowing what you know now in hindsight about how things have turned out for you, what advice would you give to your 22-year-old self?
I would say keep leading with your heart and trust yourself. Everything is going to be just fine.
That's really good advice. Katy Marshall, the founder and owner of Studio One Cycling in Dover and Portsmouth.
Am I staying up here?
Yeah, you stay up here. Okay, we have a few minutes left. We're going to wrap up with some Q&A. Katy, you stay up here. Alex Bynum, come back up here. Rae, Ryan, Krystal, you all come back up here. And then I am up here as well. We have maybe some questions. Alex, we have some questions from the box. Alex, you grab this mic and we'll pass along. We'll just stand.
Okay.
So we'll read off a couple questions. Oh, well, we're all tangled. We'll read off a couple questions here, and then we'll solicit any questions from the crowd. Alex, what's the first question? Who's it from? Who is it for? Rae and Ryan, you guys can come join me. We can use this mic.
The first question for the panel is, what is your biggest challenge right now, and how do you plan to overcome it?
Is this for anyone specifically or just anyone?
It's for anyone.
Okay, for anyone.
Yeah.
Rae and Ryan, what are your biggest challenge? What's the question again?
What's your biggest challenge at the moment, and how do you plan to overcome it?
I'm trying to get billionaires to talk to me and use my app, but they're very difficult to get a hold of. I'm overcoming it by I create personalized Loom videos, and then I just do like a ton of research, and I like find someone that knows them, and I just like relentlessly DM them until they respond.
I love that about you. Ryan, what about you?
Biggest product market fit.
I don't know what that means. Krystal, what about you?
We need a better job market. The job market's really hard right now. So I have a lot of clients that are kind of interviewing aggressively and just need the market to soften a little bit. So, but no personal challenges.
Love to hear that, because you've got a good man in your life. Yeah. There we go. Katy?
Managing an acquisition of a second studio would be top of mind right now. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of challenges with that.
I'm sure. What else, Alex?
So all the questions are for the whole panel.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Name someone that inspires you.
Aw. Katy, this starts
Can
with you.
I say Krystal?
Of course you can.
No, really, as cheesy as it is. I mean, we are so opposite. That was very clear by your part and my part. But inspired by someone who is always honest in the right ways, but supportive at the same time. And as different as we are, you've like watched my chaos and you're like, yeah, okay, you got this, but like you should probably do this too. And helped me get to this. So I just love people that are honest and supportive and want to see you succeed.
Is it really lame if I say you though? I mean, no, honestly. No, people don't realize like in 2017 when I took my first class with Katy at what was Mission, that class changed my life. You played Breathe Me by Sia and you played Odessa and I said, who is this chick? She's way too young to know this good music and I need to know who this is. And literally like because I'm not super impulsive, you were impulsive in all the right ways. I live vicariously through you and your craziness sometimes, and I couldn't do life without you. So I appreciate you. Yeah.
Aww.
I would say Santa Claus because he took a risk on Rudolph, right?
Did he?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You know, he's like, I see something in this guy.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm not copying you guys, but actually the person who inspires me the most week over week is here, and her name's Nina.
Shout out Nina. Who's Nina?
She's my dance instructor muse. I won't reveal how old she is, but you would never believe it. She goes on ocean cold plunges. She whips my ass into shape. She gets me in these crazy costumes. Sometimes she's very particular about where my eyebrows are and where my arms are, but I would not have the energy or the fun that I have if it wasn't for Nina. So shout out to Nina.
Shout out to Nina. Okay, does anyone in the crowd have a question? If so, raise your hand. If not, we'll go back to the papers. Any brave souls? Up there. Oh, that's Joni. Joni, I know you can project. How often do I call my mom? Jesus, why are you asking me that?
Is this being recorded?
I'd say twice a week I call my mom, I'd say. Usually when I'm on a walk. I know she wishes I called her more. But I'm happy with my twice a week. Did she pay you to ask that? Okay. Hi, Mom. Anyone else have a question? In the back. Yeah, you. Spiciest steak. Okay, I love this question. I'm going to lead off with this one. Katy, contrary to what you said quality of a good leader is humility. I'm kind of on a kick right now. I think humility is overrated. I think we've been raised to be so humble, because we don't want to make other people feel bad about themselves. We don't want to talk ourselves up. But I think it's kind of created this epidemic of self-doubt and of inner negativity to ourselves, to where we think that we're not capable, that we think that we're not ready for the big moments. So actually, Lindsay's not here. There's other people who are in my yoga classes with me. She's here. We did this exercise this past week where we had to say like a mantra to ourselves, I am blank. And a lot of people had the I am overwhelmed, I am stressed. And I just said I am capable. I'm fucking capable. I can do this. And I think we should all just strut our stuff a little more. We should just say that yeah, I am this shit. I am really good at this thing. Humility is overrated. That's my spicy take, Sam.
Oh, shit.
Don't get yourself in trouble
Well,
here.
I hate that we named this after a person, Karen, but I feel like maybe the Karens were the ones holding the line all the way, the whole time, and we should just hold the line more and not put up with so much bullshit.
Shout out to Karen.
I don't want to answer this question.
Ray, he's going to say something stupid. Give the mic to Krystal. Krystal, what's your spicy take?
Spicy. I would say real change comes from an uncomfortable place. Get uncomfy every now and then. Get outside of your comfort bubble. Amazing things can happen. Take chances.
Are there lifelines available for this question? Or I feel like Rachel, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, Rachel is
She has
unfiltered.
the spiciest takes.
Rachel's spicy.
Give me something. I have nothing. She's absolutely not.
We'll talk
I
Rachel
already
a little
gave,
later,
can I
Rachel.
get away with saying I already gave my spiciest take tonight? I think I gave it away quite a bit.
Yeah, okay. You're all off the hook. I guess
got nothing else.
I'm the only one who fell on the sword. Anyone else from the crowd have a question for these beautiful people? Benjamin, what's your question? Katy?
This is my hobby. Cuddling with my cats.
She stole mine. And I was going to say spin class, but I feel like I also already said that.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, couch snuggles, Netflix. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a hermit.
Okay.
I cycle. I cycle to Mount Washington. I train for that once a year.
Oh, I've never heard of Mount Washington.
Yeah. Really?
No, I have. Ray, what about you? Hobby?
He's a lunatic. He dresses like a sperm and he just rides up the whole mountain. So people are like, are you going to do it? I'm like, no, I'm in charge of the snacks. Who would bring the snacks? I think, we throw an epic Christmas party every year, and we make people do a Christmas Carol sing-along, and it's like a whole band, and it's very fun and very weird, and we hope to do it publicly, so maybe by publicly announcing it now, we will actually publicly do it.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, that's fun.
Christmas 2025. Stay tuned. For me, hobbies, I'm addicted to exercise. You all know this. I can't sit still. Spin, yoga, Seacoast kettlebell, run. I haven't seen a movie in years because I cannot sit still for that.
Come to
long amount of
F45
time.
with us next door.
No, I'm a Seacoast kettlebell guy. I'm sorry. I'm not going
Oh,
to change my
shit.
loyalties. Okay, so that is the end of the Q&A portion of the program. Thank you to all my guests. Thank you to all of you. Flip it to the last slide. One final thing as you all go. I just have one favor to ask, and that is you just follow the show on Spotify. I prefer Spotify for obvious reasons. On Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. I want to do this bigger and better each time. I want to do this as often as possible. This is an incredible community, and I want to do this for years to come. To do that, I need your help to not only follow the show, but to tell the Seacoaster in your life about it, to share the good messages and the gospels that we're doing at Seacoast Stories. That's it for the show. Thank you so much. Get home safely. Season 2 starts on Monday. You'll hear this episode, and you will hear a brand new episode on Monday, 5 a.m. Eastern. Get home safely. Thank you.